Hello folks, well we're back on to a set for trucking and farming in Leicestershire. Not quite finished that Uniden base station, still got to rewire the public address thing. I was looking at component values in the microphone preamp, but that delay in transmitted audio, I think we need to get public address working first to see whether that delay happens in public address so we can pinpoint it quicker. So that's still ongoing. What I've done is to dig out my own audio line 345 base station, which is the same of course, and I've had to take that apart and start looking at the wiring. They do waste a lot of time, these people who do the modifications. I think we're about 7 hours into that job now. So here we are with the Maxcom 30. It is, what date? 20th. So this is basically a Maxcom 4E or a Midland 3001, 4001, whatever, with a crystal filter as standard, and that's about it. These came a bit later, usually about 1987. Not often we see one in a box. Don't think that's a real box. Ugh. Right, power lead. Give me that, putting it back in the box in inverted commas. Bracket, microphone. We'll do that on the air test at the end. Accessories, instructions, which comes with the circuit diagram and the alignment procedure. I'll just put that on one side. And get the duster, because chances are it's going to be a pretty immaculate one. Apart from the detector going out, I can't think we've had any issues. Probably one of the most Maxcom in general with this type of chassis. One of the most reliable but unremarkable sets. Yeah, they work great. But you're never going to get the sensitivity you'll see on some of the cybernets. But having said that, you'll see better sensitivity than the Unidens. But then the Unidens have got a it's June 88. They've got a thing for not getting as much bleed over. But then if they're as deaf as they are, like around about 1 microvolt, then that's going to be the case. So there you go. If you live in the middle of nowhere like me, you'd be more interested in sensitivity. Obviously, if you live in a town and there's people on every street with a CB radio, then you're going to be more interested in selectivity. So let's have a look at the serial number. It's 807-00177. It's June 88. So I see that in my mind as a little bit later than some. So we'll try it as it is, subject to us having a Maxcom power lead on the bench. Now Mr. Chippie manufactures these with some expensive tools we bought from Japan and correct mouldings that come from the United States. Unless Mr. Trump's going to put a stop to it. Let's see what power leads we have got on here. Well, it looks like we're going to stores to go and borrow a new one from there. Right, one new power lead, courtesy of Mr. Chippie's department. These are RS fuse holders. It's all about repeatability, isn't it? Quality repeatability. Right, I'm going to plug in the speaker on the wall into the public address socket, and we won't plug anything into extension speaker yet. So put the power supply on 13.8 volts, switch on. I think it says there's no meter lamp, which is the case, and that'll be a nice faff. We're going to need to plug a mic in, aren't we? So where's our standard Cybernet mic? Would it surprise you if I said I've no idea? Right. Let's find the clipboard. Right, 3.2 watts. Let's turn the volume down. Channel 40. Oh, 3 watts. Channel 1, 3.2 watts. Low power, (300 milliwatts), except we weren't on channel 1. We are now 340 milliwatts. Current consumption 866 milliamps, that's good. Imagine not running a meter lamp. We don't do the VCO on these because they manufacture these on a pin jig. They don't have to insert all the components at the factory. So if we want to find out what the VCO is, we've got to insert extra components. So unless there's a fault and it's not transmitting on the extreme channels, we wouldn't have to ever go into that. And they're probably more stable than any other set in that respect. So we'll look at deviation on this test set for what it's worth. Wow, 1.2. It's probably true as well. So if we can see the meter when we key up, it's banging across to exactly 4. So we put the signal generator. I'll tell you what, we'll look at the frequency first. Test set's been on for a couple of hours, so what it says is going to be right. 2779119 is of course nearly spot on. 2779119 should be 2779125, but that's neither here nor there. Let's just do public address. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. It works on mic gain and volume. Here we go. Potentiometers. Mic gain noisy. So we'll go out of public address, go to CB. Let's look what we'll put that frequency now into the signal generator. 2779. 125 if we can find it. So close enough. Oh my goodness. Well, that's not receiving, is it? Wow. Oh, we are. It's pretty abysmal. It is 2.4 microvolts. The 10 dB, 2.2 microvolts. It's nearly as bad as a Cobra. It does actually do 20 dB, which surprises me, and it's 2.7, 2.9. Squelch, does that work? Let's put the attenuator on if we can see it between all the wires. Tell you what, we can unplug that public address one, and that's one wire less. Do you get that? Wireless. Right, so I've got squelch to full. Let's turn this. I want it to open at 100 microvolts. We're at 3. 10, 30, 100. Never opens. No surprise there. And let's do the opposite. We'll park this at 0.3 of a microvolt, put it to standby, turn the squelch down on the radio, set threshold, signal generator on, and the squelch is 15, 16, 17 minimum. So that's I don't think we get much beyond Ancaster Crossroads or the top of the hill with that. Right, what's the meter say? Well, it says bang on 9. So 9 equals 9. I'm just checking the switches. They're checked. Right, well, wants quite a lot doing. I'll do the set and then we'll spend just as much time doing the meter lamp as we did doing the set. Anyway, that should bring me to lunchtime before having to embark on the meter lamp. We've also got a Binatone Long Ranger hand porter come in from the same gentleman who owned that Master, the Moonraker Master, which was quite a difficult repair if you remember. I'm sure this won't be from the same source, and those Binatone Long Rangers are as good as it gets, apart from not having external mic and therefore being trumped by the realistic 1001 and 1005, which are of course the same set, but one has an LED display and one has an LCD display. Right, open it up. I better put the smouldering iron on because we're going to need to undo this speaker. So I reckon this is a return because it's unusable with that receive. Oh, you get the genuine Maxcom speaker. They often use Buckdo, but in this case they're using a Maxcom branded one. So where's the crystal filter? Somebody pinched it. Got the Samsung LM324. I've no doubt that Samsung live next door to Maxcom. don't know whether you know, but we've got a Nissan, well, you know, we've got a Nissan Almera as one of the cars here, 2004 model, and I don't know whether you're aware, they have Samsung gearboxes in them. It's not the best feature, but they have. Of course, I'm in Britain. We're talking about manual gearbox, you know, where you push a gear lever. And I've probably said before, and loads of other people have said before, that one of the reasons most people drive manual cars, and of course we can't with the electric car because it doesn't have gears anyway, because it's just a motor. But when you take your driving test, if you take your test in a manual car, you get a full driving license. If you take your test in an automatic car, you get a restricted driving license, and it restricts you to only driving ever automatics unless you take a full driving test. So here's the thing: if you're seen driving an automatic car, people assume you weren't clever enough to drive a full driving license. And I've had that with automatic cars myself, and people have said, "Oh, I'm surprised at you, Richard," in a condescending voice. "I thought you'd be able to drive a manual car." You know, so this is one of the problems. I think it's called reverse snobbery. Right, let's get through this instead of telling you about the UK driving test. And seeing as I'm in my 60s, that was a long time ago when I was 19. Couldn't afford to do it before then. Right. We want the main meter. You know what? We may as well just pop it on frequency right now because it's so close. May as well do it. That'll do, man. And by the time the set's warmed up a bit longer, it'll be higher. So, transmitter. This is what is not balanced on this radio. So we go on to the 30 watt scale. So 4 watts is there. As you can see, it's about 3.2. Have I got picture in picture on? Showing you all these meters. Now, of course, if I had an HDMI monitor which was CRT, I'd be able to see it. But because it's a liquid crystal monitor, I can't see it from this angle. And it's no good saying, "Oh, well, they do adapters." The snag there is that you lose massive amount of resolution. So that is the centre of the peak. It's not just the peak, it's the centre of the peak. We need to go forwards and backwards to find that peak. That was out. That was out. That wasn't. I think this has been tweaked down. A lot of screwdriver experts tweak sets down. Reads more on the £4.99 meter, but it doesn't read more in reality. So we're now at 3.4 watts, and of course the radio's heated up. So this is the one we do the adjustment with. So it's now balanced, hopefully. And this is the power one. And there we have 4 watts. And if you're struggling to get 4 watts, it does say in the manual that we can check the placement of these airspace cores, but on this set it's fine. Right, so we've got 4 watts. Let's go on the other channels. Channel 40, 4 watts. I could say 3.98. And on channel 1, 4 watts. By the time this is cooled down, it'll probably be very slightly over. 4 watts, 4 watts, 4 watts. do low power. Well, I wish new sets had low power. It's the most missed feature. You're in a convoy and you've got your mates and you're in the cut and they're blowing your windows out. Right, low power. 400 milliwatts exactly. And let's go to full power. Well, let's have a look what the meter now says on the front, if we can see it. Well, it's banging across now. Let's take that away. Banging across. So that's back where it should be. Right, we'll do the deviation. Do it right now. I plugged it into the test set behind me. We'll see if this test set's ready. It's only been on 20 minutes. Wow, 1.8. It's ready, all right. Wow. Alright, that's that done. Let's see what this test set says. Wallow, it's exactly the same. It's spot on today. Wallow, wallow. Right, let's go current consumption. 973 milliamps, still under 1 amp. However, I don't think we will be when we put a new meter lamp in, but they are only 40 milliamps. Right, we've done the meter. It's what to do with this. Right, we'll start by putting an S9 signal. So the one thing that these can do on their own is the detector go out. And this has got a detector that's out. So fix that. Before I do the front end, I'll just turn the squelch down. Before I do the front end, I'm going to look at the meter. I'm just going to put the... Is it adjustable on these? Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. So here's the presets. Antenna warning indicator. Low power. Transmit meter. Deviation. Squelch. There's a preset dangling in the wiring. That's the meter preset for receive. And it's currently at full. I'm doing that because I want to monitor the SINAD meter. I think I'll leave it on the oscilloscope because you might probably see a better effect. I wanted to see that as I make sure this IF's right, because I can see it on the radio's meter, the oscilloscope and the SINAD meters, and look at all three. So I'm just going to see if we can just touch that IF. Probably be best off with the SINAD meter only for that. That's the one that's out. Absolutely miles out, folks. That's why the meter preset's on full, because that was wrong. Let's look at this again. Now we'll do the front end. In fact, I'll tell you what, it's so far out, I'm going to recheck the detector. That's okay still. Right, we'll go to the SINAD meter. Just to select camera 4. See whether we can do the front end any better. Little tiny bit, not a lot. Miles out. So it's either a return or it's been extensively fiddled with. There we go. What a result. So let's now look at what we've got. .59. .55, and I think I just knocked it off frequency then. I did. And for 20 dB, 0.95. Check that again. Yep. Well, after all that, it's possible the squelch might work better. It better do. Squelch to full. So we'll go to the attenuator. So we've got that at 0, so we're at 1 microvolt. I want it to open as 100. 3, 10, 30, 100. It doesn't do. So let's see if we can make it by adjusting the preset. Yes, we can. Just drop the signal. Yep, that's where I want it. So now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to switch the signal generator to standby, turn the squelch down on the radio, set the threshold on the radio, signal generator back on, tell you what, that's still lousy. Let's just try that again. So we've got the threshold there, signal generator back on. Well, it's still 3 microvolts. Well, the only thing that can affect that is the IF. So I'll pause the video, see whether I can just adjust it a bit better. Well, after lots of careful adjustments, it's not the best squelch in the world. Let's just turn the signal generator back to standby and put it back on. And here we go. That's 2 microvolts. It's coming in at 2.5. So we'll see how that goes round Scratchy Corner. And squelch at full. It does open where we expect it to, so that's fine. Right, so I better just recheck the sensitivity figures now I've altered the receiver again. .59, yeah, it's exactly the same, that's fine. So, a bit of a letdown with the squelch. Now we're going to have to do the big faff, and that's the meter lamp. I'll just check that TX lamp works. Yeah, because they can play up. The only thing we need to then set is the antenna warning indicator, and I have got a you know what I need, don't you? A matcher. I've got one of those. I'll go and take a lunch break, but I'll take this front off first. Or enough to get to the meter lamp. Unless you can get it to it from here, which I doubt. No, just not quite. This will be corrosion, it won't be that the meter lamp's burnt out. It'll be years of being damp. I'll take that out. So it's on a little tag strip. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a wire-ended bulb on not the usual ones we use, on this little tag strip. I think you've got to just slip this meter cover off slightly. We can get that little tag board out. What I'm going to do is put the meter cover back on so it doesn't get clonked and bent and broken. At 8K, I don't think that's how it should be. No, there we are, we have an open circuit meter lamp. Get that unsoldered. We've got these, when I find the packet, the RS ones, we have got these in stock. So I'll come back to that after lunch. Right, so we've got the RS6559592, and hopefully this is as close as we're going to get. Even better if I can get one out of the packet. What do you reckon to that? Well, you probably can't see it because the clipboard's to the left. There we go. May as well take picture in picture off. So the fun bit is to not drop it on the floor. Probably end up changing the ballast resistor because it's going to be, despite there being as similar as you can get, it's probably going to be too bright or too dim. I don't know. There we go. Very good match. So we cut that to exactly the same length. It's these kind of jobs that take the time. It's not the tune-up. There we go. We'll put the meter away for a bit. So we thread that back through the meter aperture. If we carefully take the lid back off. There, we're in the guide rails, and that cover, when we put it back on, actually holds the little subboard into position. Right, I'm going to power it up and see what the brightness level is. Ah, it's absolutely spot on. Good. Screw those screws back in. Do the antenna warning indicator. I don't think I did the S meter, did I? I can't remember. I looked at the clipboard. Have I ticked it off? No. So once again, never over tighten these fascia screws. I just hold the shaft of the screwdriver, so your fingers are working as a bit of a torque thing. Get these knobs all back on. Now we had a bit of dirty RF gain. I just said RF gain, didn't I? But I meant mic gain. Right, antenna warning indicator will be the next thing. I'll just put this mic in and check the meter for S9 on the test set, corresponds with S9 on the meter. Being a bit generous, pop that down a bit. But remember, that was at full whack. There we go. I'm just going to plug the speaker, which is mounted on the wall rather than the test equipment speaker, in, just to monitor. That's 0.3 of a microvolt. Hear it right down to 0.2. So you need to have, if you want to bother to set up the antenna warning indicator, you need to have a matcher. And what we do, we set the matcher to like a 3-to-1 SWR, and then we set this so that it triggers the antenna warning indicator. Midland 4001 is of course identical as set, except it hasn't got the crystal filter, and that has the antenna warning indicator as well. So I'll come back with a SWR meter with a built-in matcher and we'll finish the video. Okay, so here we go. Patch lead. Of course, we've got to hope this meter works. And we've plugged this into our test equipment because that's got the dummy load in it. With AM monitor, whoa! Right, key it up. Take it we're on low power. Yeah, we are. Put it on full power. Yep. So we can do the SWR like you'd expect. So we're in 10 watt range, which is forward. Oh, it's forwards there, is it? So forwards, reflect, and it correctly says about 1.1, 1.2. Then we know this radio is doing 4 watts. So in power mode, what does it say this radio is doing? So 4 watts is there on this meter. Ooh, it's doing 5.5. They must be Zetagi watts. And now what we're going to do is we want a 3-to-1 SWR on it. So switch the matcher on. Oh, there we are. We've got a 1-to-1 match. So now, and out of interest, I will just tell you we've now got 3 watts on the test equipment. So we've lost a watt, haven't we? So now we're going to put it to a 3-to-1 SWR. I'll put it a bit more than that. We'll put it to that. It's about a 4-to-1 SWR. So if we key up, our antenna warning light's not coming on. So I need to adjust that so that it does. We haven't got antenna warning light. We have at that point. So the antenna warning light does work. Alright, let's put the we don't need to put the test gear back on. I'll switch that off. I'll reach for the roof area, which is the Antron 99. It's actually the Solarcon 99. And if you know anything about those fiberglass aerials, they have an optional ground plane kit which we don't have. So we have the worst possible performance. That's how we do the demonstrations. And it's mounted just above gutter level on a single-story building and broadside into a concrete pan-tiled roof. Only the very tip of the aerial pokes over, and then we've got several acres of woods before we get to the village of Ancaster, which is the direction in which Mr. Chippie travels. So it's all designed so anybody else can do a better setup easily. What we don't do is, I'll have comments, you know, what kind of aerial are you using on the car, and what is it? It's not a roadkill. It's a fake version of a Thunderpole. No, it's not. It's a fake version of a modulator. And I can't even remember what, Red Thunder or something. They were £9.99 at the time when we bought them. And yeah, they're a cheap copy, but they work. And it's mounted with a drilled in mount in the centre of the roof, done properly. We've shown that on the video. The video's still up there, installing it on the Nissan Leaf. And people, oh, there's better aerials than that. Well, yeah, but the point is, the whole point is to show ordinary things. Not playing the, ooh, look at me, I've got all this expensive aerial. Well, I haven't. But the cheapest. And what have we discovered about CB radios? Well, the £270 ones seem to be less range than the £39.99 ones. Just get loads of menus and silliness. Right. So apart from the squelch, which is not brilliant, but it's blooming sight better than it was at where was it? 17 microvolts down to approximately 2.5. So gonna have to be careful how I set that. But for most people, it wouldn't matter. I think if it wasn't the crystal filtered version, that would work better. Is there a Danita 640 looks like this set as well? Right, set on. So filter is just tone high and low. Local DX, all that does in local, it switches out the RF gain. Sorry, it switches in the RF gain, and in DX, that has no effect. So I always use it in DX. It's got a Mark 7 something or other. One and a Roger. No. Set this squelch. Well, they're still breaking through the squelch, so there we are. So, voltage up from 3.2 watts to 4 watts, deviation up from 1.8 to the 2.2/2.5 absolute peak. Frequency was already correct, but I trimmed it anyway. Receiver was abysmal, and that's now been brought up dramatically. and the squelch is at least acceptable instead of never ever opening. So thank you for watching the Maxcom 30E crystal filtered version from, I say that they all are, from 1988.